Hello, everyone. This is Lincoln Anderson. I am the financial advisor here at Oklahoma Central Credit Union here in the Oklahoma Central Financial Planning Department. And I'm happy to welcome all of you to our second webinar of the year. We're going to be talking about Social Security today. And we have a great speaker lined up for you. His name is Michael O'Donovan. He is a senior regional consultant with MFS Investments. I've heard him speak multiple times on this topic, and I learn something new every time. So I think you're going to be really engaged by the presentation that he has for you today. It's a complex topic with a lot of moving parts, but we're going to talk about the different options that you have and how to make a good decision. So I think you'll be excited about that. In just a second, I'm going to turn over to Mike, but I do want to let everybody know that we are going to have 2 more webinars this year. The next one is going to be on healthcare costs in retirement. So of course, that's going to be mainly Medicare. That'll be in August. And then in October, we're going to have another webinar, which is going to be about legacy planning. So if either of those topics interest you, be sure and be on the lookout for those. But once again, today we are focusing on Social Security. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend Michael O'Donovan, and he will take the reins and give y'all some great information. So please welcome him. Here he is.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Welcome.
Get on down here and just click the screen here.
Yeah, sorry.
Perfect. There you go. Fantastic. Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Hope everyone's doing well out there. So Lincoln had mentioned, so my last name's O'Donovan. I'm originally an Irish guy from Boston, Massachusetts. A Boston guy, an Irish guy from Boston. How unique is that? So my wife and I, Sarah, we moved from Boston to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we've been here for some time now. We have 3 Okie babies, Thomas, Julia, and Kate. But I'll give you a little Boston accent this morning, and I'll curve all my R's after this. But when we moved down here, my friends in Boston would ask, you know, how is Oklahoma? Is it different? And I'd say back to them, so it ain't that different. You got your Starbucks, your Walmarts, your dry cleaners, big time spots in Oklahoma. That's sports, by the way. It's just college, not pro, although we do have the Thunder, and we have wicked bad weather in Oklahoma. And I'm not talking tornadoes. Just last February, that's February, we had a blizzard that shut down Tulsa for 4 weeks. That's 4. And they say, I can't believe that Boston and Tulsa, I mean, give me a break, Massachusetts and Oklahoma could be that similar. I said, well, hold the phone, there is one major difference. And they're curious, what is it? I said, the major difference is there are no rude people in Oklahoma. And they go, are we that bad? I go, yes, we're that bad. So on behalf of my wife, our 3 Okie babies, thank you for allowing us in and allowing us to stay. We've been here for almost a decade and a half, and we absolutely have loved it. And I bring that story up because if you ever moved away from home for a day, a week, a month, a year, or even 10 years, you realize it's not where you live, it's who you surround yourself with. And Lincoln, thank you for having me and meeting me over a decade ago and taking me in. So hopefully the information today is going to be beneficial to you and to hopefully potentially your spouse as well. Before I kick off the Social Security discussion, I just want to share with you real quickly the firm that I've been with for 21 years. So I work for MFS Investment Management. And in the year 1924, so 99 years ago, the average household in America was making about $3,000 a year. And in 1924, 1 share of General Electric stock back then cost $232.25. And in order to invest on Wall Street back in 1924, you had to buy in lots of 100 shares. So the average American making $3,000 a year wasn't able to invest on Wall Street for their future financial needs, having to buy 100 shares of, say, General Electric at $232.25. And so the solution to that problem, enabling all Americans the ability to invest on Wall Street, was the invention of America's first mutual fund. So MFS invented the mutual fund in 1924. And I share that story because we've been around for 99 years. We've seen a lot. In 99 years, we've seen 17 recessions, 6 major wars, 1 Great Depression, H1N1, SARS, Ebola, COVID, oil going up, oil going down, interest rates going up, interest rates going down, inflation going up, inflation going down. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see all that stuff again, but it's our job at MFS. Our sole purpose, our #1 goal at MFS is to manage other people's money other people's capital responsibly and grow the assets. That's what we do first at MFS. And again, we've been doing it for over 100 years. We manage $600 billion of other people's money. And so that's our first goal. The second goal, though, is to help my client, which is Lincoln, and his clients, which is all of you, and educate them on topics of major concern. And obviously, Social Security is probably number one in that book. And so when you think about, before we get to Social Security, when you think about what's the number one concern folks have, what's the number one question people have as they're getting closer and closer to retirement? The number one question is, will I have enough? Will I outlive my money, or will I be able to live, use the money I have throughout my retirement and retire with grace and dignity? Or will I have to move in with my kids? And the second question most people ask is, do I have a child that will actually let me move in with them? I have three, an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and I already know that 2 of them would not let me move in. So Julia, my middle child, would be the one. Jokingly, of course, but here's the thing. After that first question's asked, will I have enough? The second question folks ask is, what am I getting for my Social Security? Because once I have that number, I can then backfill the rest of the dollars I need on a monthly and annual and decade basis to be able to supplement my Social Security to ultimately have enough money to live on a monthly basis throughout retirement. So there is a catch, or there is an angle to this presentation today, and simply put is, how do you maximize your Social Security benefits, and how do you minimize how much you take or how much you pay to Uncle Sam? And so that's the gist of today. Now, if there's anything you take away from today, there's a book. It's called the MFS Social Security Reference Guide. I would ask, if I could see all of you, I would ask all of you, who here on this call believes that everything you read on the internet is true? And obviously we don't, right? But there are very few places to get this information, and MFS being one of them. This is published every year on January 1st with all the correct information to help you guide yourself, potentially your spouse, to making the most informed and best decision for you and your family on taking Social Security. So if you don't have that book, get that book. I think there's one out there PDF, and there's also physical copies at the locations with Lincoln. And here's the other thing. Everyone on this call is taking the time to better yourself, educate yourself on making a great decision for you and your family. We all have friends in the same age bracket, if you will. Make sure they know where to go and get this book, because again, very few places. Now, many of you may have gone down to Social Security Administration office already, and if you had a pleasant experience, I'd love to hear about it. But here's the thing: when you go down there and you ask questions, they give you an answer. It's probably incorrect. You come back to Lincoln, and Lincoln confirms that it wasn't correct and gives you the right answer. Then you go back down, and you get a different person, and they give you different information. And so you don't want to be going down there looking for advice. You want to be going to the Social Security Administration office and actually demanding what you want accomplished. And through this book and through Lincoln, you can do that. I'm not trying to poo-poo the government agency. It's been closed for 2 years. They just reopened up. And as we all know, whether it be private or public entity or business, if you do a good job, where do you move in a company? You move up. So they're always retraining these folks all the time. So here's what I'll say, and we'll get into this presentation. I am an enthusiast. I can't technically call myself an expert, but I've been talking about it for 16 years on Social Security, but I'm an extreme enthusiast, and the reason why is it's personal. So my father was an estate planning attorney, brilliant man. He was a professor at Suffolk University in Boston, and at age 62, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And my mother, who raised five knucklehead Irish kids, she raised us for 20 to 25 years. She went back to school, and she went and started teaching special ed in Boston public schools. And when Dad got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, he had to step away from his job. My mom had to step away from her job, so 2 incomes no longer exist. They had to draw their Social Security early. Well, it was under the assumption that when Dad passed away a few years later, my mother would receive his survivor benefits. And unfortunately, in the great state of Massachusetts, or some call it Taxachusetts, she got only the option of either her survivor benefits or her school pension whichever one was higher. And it was a $40,000 pitfall that she had to reconcile. Fortunately, she is doing just fine. But I realized I'm in the industry and that's my mother. She's not alone. And so I've become quite passionate about this. So what are we going to talk about today? Let's talk about, first and foremost, this statement right here. So many of you may be receiving this benefit statement. They stopped sending this out to save money on Social Security, and we'll touch upon that topic in a moment. But if you'd like to receive your Social Security benefit statement, you can. You just go to ssa.gov, but you do have to enter your Social Security information on the World Wide Web. So if you do that, make sure it's the legitimate site. When you do that, they will ask you for an email address to send a PIN to you. If you're still working in your company versus maybe your Yahoo or Gmail address, if you have a company email that might be a little bit more secure, I urge you to use that. They'll send you a PIN, you enter it back on the ssa.gov site, and ultimately create a application for yourself, and you can see your Social Security statements. Now, why did I mentioned they stopped sending this out? And there's a reason why, right? To save money on Social Security. So many folks, so why did they do that? Because we're worried about running out of money when it comes to Social Security. And for any baby boomers on the call, I would first and foremost tell you, do not worry about Social Security running out. It is not an issue for the baby boomer generation, but more so the generation Y, X, Y, Z, and millennials. And here's why. 83% of widows over the age of 80 rely on Social Security for 90% of their income. Widows over the age of 80, do you know what they are? They're the best voters in America. The reason why Social Security has not been on a major political agenda in any major election for the last literally 5 go-arounds is because you'll lose the election. Because they know that that generation will vote very hard if you do not go towards their stance on Social Security. So the baby boomers are okay. It is going to rear its ugly head, unfortunately, for Generation Y, Z, and millennials, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. So let's talk about, where do Social Security was never supposed to be your sole means of retirement income. So where do you draw your retirement income from? Multiple different sources. It could be from rental income, agricultural income, oil royalties. It could be from your 401k, your 403b, your Roth 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, your annuity, your pension, so many different areas. Social Security was never supposed to be the main source, but it definitely is a big part. So today, let's talk about how we can maximize that big part. We're gonna do it 3 ways. There's gonna be 3 topics here. One, we're gonna talk about the benefits, okay? Well, actually I should say, we're gonna talk about how you are eligible for Social Security and how it's calculated. Then we're gonna talk about the benefits. We're gonna talk about the retirement benefit, the spousal benefit, the survivor benefit, and the divorcee benefit. And then lastly, we're gonna talk about taxes and how do we minimize our taxes and how do we build a well-diversified tax strategy through retirement. So let's talk about how the benefits are calculated. So in order to be eligible for Social Security, for the retirement benefit that is, you have to pay into Social Security for 40 quarters, so 10 years. It does not have to be consecutive, but you have to pay in for 40 quarters. That makes you eligible. Then they're going to take your highest 35 years that you paid into Social Security, and it will create an average of your retirement benefit, which you can find out on ssa.gov through the website. Now, once you're eligible and you've paid in for 35 years, or maybe not 35 years, my mother only paid in for 25 years. She had a lot of zeros next to her name, which we'll talk about why the spousal benefit is so important, because a retirement benefit couldn't come close to what a spousal benefit could be. But once you do that, the next thing is, what is my full, we have to figure out what my full retirement age is. So in today, right now, full retirement age on Social Security is age 66. Think of it like the Route 66. Here we are in Tulsa. Now, depending on when you're born, 55 or 56, it could be 66 in a couple months. Or if you were born past 1960, your full retirement age could be 67. Today, though, I'll use the rule of 66. And the rule of 66 is any decision you're thinking about making before full retirement age, don't do it. Joking. Everyone's scenarios are different, just like my mom and dad's. But any decision you make before full retirement age, there will be a withholding or a reduction on your benefit, which also could affect your spousal's survivor benefits as well. So full retirement age 66. Let's talk about maximizing and gaining as much as we can back from our retirement benefit. So next page here, we'll talk about the actual retirement benefit. So if you can wait till full retirement age, now age 66 is on the left, age 67 will be on the right. But as you can see, and can I actually use the cursor here? Perfect. Can you see my cursor? Yeah. Fantastic. So if you can wait till full retirement age, full retirement age 66, you'll receive 100% of your estimated benefits back. But if you take it early, it's going to be reduced at 65 by 67, 64 by 13.3, at 63 by 20%. If you take it as early as 62, you're permanently reducing your retirement benefits by 25%. Again, that's also going to have an effect on the survivor benefit, which we'll talk about in one moment. But what if you could wait? What if you could wait till 67, 68, 69, or what they call maximum Social Security benefit, age 70? Every year you can wait, you will get a guaranteed increase of 8% each year. So if you wait till 67, you get an 8% increase, 68, 16%, 69, 24%, 70, a permanent increase of 32%. So your question really is, can I wait? Should I wait? Should I continue to work? And we'll get to that in a moment. But I will say this benefit, these are calculated on a monthly basis. So if you decide, hey, listen, I'm going to wait till 67, or I'm going to wait till 68, but you get to 66 in 6 months and you say, hey, you know what, I want to take my Social Security benefit. You've waited 6 months or 2 quarters, you get a 4% increase, right? So every month you get or every quarter you get a 2% increase. So that's a little bit about your retirement benefit, but now let's talk a little bit about working and taking Social Security, because a lot of folks say, well, I'm going to continue to work and I'll draw my Social Security. It'll be a little bump in my pay. Not always the case. So there are limits to how much you can earn and take while taking Social Security. Now, I'll back up. If you're full retirement age 66, you can make as much money as you want and continue to work, and there will be no withholdings on your Social Security benefits. But if you take it early, there are limits. So from age 62 to 65, if you decide to work and take your Social Security, you can make $21,240. Every dollar you make after $21,240, one for every $2 of your Social Security benefit is going to be withheld. So you can see how your benefit could dwindle away a little bit if you're making a lot more than the $21,240. Now, in the year you turn full retirement age 66, you can make $56,520, but every dollar you make after that, one for every $3 is going to be withheld on your retirement benefit. And so this concept of working and taking Social Security, also whether I should wait or take it early, coincides with a great exercise called the 4% reliable withdrawal rate rule. And I urge you, if you have not done this exercise, it's one of the best exercises in the financial planning industry, and I would urge you to sit down with Lincoln to do it. And what it is a stress test of your retirement picture. And here's how it works. Excluding Social Security, okay? Remember all those puzzle pieces I put up at the beginning? Your pension, your 401k, your IRA, your stocks, bonds, cash, mutual funds, your rental income. If you can live off of 4%, withdrawing 4% of your overall investable assets, those puzzle pieces, if you can live off a 4% withdrawal rate, and you can stomach a 50-50 split between stocks and bonds, studies have shown over the last half a century that you have a 100% chance of never running out of money in retirement. But the flip side, if you're taking a higher withdrawal rate, 5, 6, 7, 8%, and you can't stomach that 50-50 split between stocks and bonds, and you say are 100% in cash, studies have shown that you have a 100% chance of running out of money in retirement. So passing that stress test, if you can or if you can't, really can help you determine, well, if I'm putting too much stress on my investable assets, it might make sense to take Social Security early. Or if I'm not putting stress on my investable assets, I'm gonna let those continue to grow, or take from there and let my Social Security increase by 8% every year until max Social Security age. So just an exercise I urge you all to sit down and do. So let's talk about spousal benefits. So we talk about retirement benefits. Spousal benefits are fairly similar because spousal benefit, you're still alive. So here's how, and you have a choice. So here's how spousal benefits work. In order to be eligible for spousal benefits, you have to be married to your current spouse for 1 year. And you have to, the retirement benefit that we just talked about has to be being taken. Now, a lot of spouses that say, well, I never paid into Social Security. Well, just like my mom who didn't pay into Social Security for 25 years to raise us Irish knuckleheads, she's still eligible, even if she didn't go back to work. So realize that even if you didn't pay in, spousal benefits are still eligible, even if you didn't pay into Social Security. And here's how it works. Very similar to the retirement benefit. If you can wait till your full retirement age as a spouse, age 66, you'll receive 50% of the full retirement benefit of the spouse, okay? 50%. If you take it early, 65, 64, 63, 62, it's going to be reduced. I think a great way to show this example is through an example. Diane and Jack. It used to be Jack and Diane. It was really nice for me, John Cougar Mellencamp action. But here's how it works. Diane's going to be the higher earner. And Jack's retirement benefit, the spouse, is less than his spousal benefit. So Jack's trying to figure out, how do I maximize my spousal benefit? 3 different scenarios. Diane's going to take it early at age 62. She's reducing her retirement benefit and she'll receive $7,000. She's going to take it at full retirement age 67 in this scenario. She'll receive $10,000, and age 70, max retirement benefit, increasing her benefit to $12,400. Okay. So what does Jack need to do to maximize or minimize his Social Security benefit? First scenario, Diane takes it at full retirement age. She receives $10,000. Jack, he can wait till his full retirement age 67. Jack will receive 1/2 of Diane's full retirement benefit. Jack will receive $5,000. If he takes it early as 62, it's going to be reduced. Second scenario, Diane, she waits till maximum, not full, but maximum retirement Social Security age. She receives $12,400. Jack has a choice. He waits till full retirement age 67. Jack will receive 1/2 of Diane's full retirement benefit, not max retirement benefit. He'll receive $5,000. If Jack takes it early, it's going to be reduced. Last scenario, Diane couldn't wait. She takes it early, $7,000 at age 62. But Jack can wait. Jack waits till age 67. Jack will receive 1/2 of Diane's full retirement benefit, not 1/2 of her minimized retirement benefit. 1/2 of Jack's full retirement benefit, receive $5,000, but if he takes it early, it will be reduced. So this trips some folks up sometimes. Oh, Diane, you're gonna take it full retirement age, all right, I'll get 1/2 of 10,000, that's easy math. Oh, wait, Diane, you're waiting till max retirement age. I'm gonna receive 1/2 of that 12,400. Not the case. And then, oh gosh, Diane, don't take it early. I'm only gonna receive 1/2 of your minimized benefit. Not the case. If you're alive, you have the choice to make the decision to wait till full retirement age. In this scenario, if Jack does that, he'll receive 1/2 of Diane's full retirement benefit. All right, so that's a little bit about the retirement benefit, the spousal benefit. Let's talk a little bit about survivor benefits, because here's where you can really maximize and get all your dollars back when it comes to Social Security. And here's how it works. Survivor benefits are a little bit different from retirement and spousal benefits. Why? We don't have the choice of when we pass away. So I'll give you some scenarios on survivor benefits. Let's say the retirement benefit, that first benefit we talked about, you waited till age 66, full retirement age, you receive 100% of your benefits, and then you pass away the next day. The survivor, if the survivor who's alive and still has the option or has a choice, if the survivor's alive and can wait till full retirement age, they're going to receive 100% of that former benefit the spouse was receiving. But if you take it early, it's going to be reduced. Okay? You can start taking that survivor benefit as early as age 60. Second scenario, the retirement benefit wasn't being taken. You're 64, you're 65, you're still waiting to take that retirement benefit at full retirement age, and you pass away. Well, the government realizes you don't have a choice of when you pass away, so they will honor your full retirement age. You'll receive that 66, what you would receive at 66, that full retirement benefit. Now, if the survivor can wait till their full retirement age, they'll receive 100% of the benefit. But if they take it early, it's going to be reduced. Third scenario, and this is kind of the worst case scenario, the retirement benefit is taken early. Let's say it's taken as early as 62, permanently reducing your retirement benefit by 25%. Now, if the survivor, and you pass away. Now, if the survivor can wait till full retirement age, they'll receive 100% of that reduced retirement benefit that was being taken. But the worst case scenario is the survivor takes it as early as 60, and they reduce the already reduced retirement benefit. We try to avoid that. The last case scenario, best case scenario, you wait after full retirement age. Let's say you max out your Social Security benefit at age 70. So you maxed out that benefit, and then you pass away at 71, 72, and the survivor can wait till their full retirement age. That survivor will receive 100% of that maxed out benefit. And that's the best case scenario, because in today's dollars, if you do that and you live for an additional, say, 25 years, the survivor that is, you receive on average in today's dollars an additional $10,000 a year. That's the national average for the next 25 years. If you live for 25 years, $250,000. There's a lot of money we can leave on the table if we don't plan on that front. So I urge you, if that's the scenario that you're thinking of, sit down and link in there. So that's a little bit of the survivor benefits. And the last benefit is divorcee benefits. And so divorcee benefits, first and foremost, I always get, does my ex know that they're taking Social Security? I'm taking Social Security off their, their numbers, and the answer is they do not. This is an individual scenario, a case off of your Social Security information. But divorcee benefits, although it might not pertain to anyone on this call, we do have friends. 53% of marriages do not end the way they were intended to. And so in order to understand some of the divorcee benefits, a couple things to keep in mind. First, in order to be eligible for divorcee benefits, you have to have been married for at least 10 consecutive years. The second thing is you can't have remarried before the age of 60. If you do remarry, you forfeit the spousal and the survivor benefits. If you remarry after age 60, you forfeit the spousal benefits, but not the survivor benefits. I think it was Jane Fonda who married 3 individuals after 60 and was married for all 3 consecutively 10 plus years. And she had a choice. It was like Ted Turner, a senator in California. I couldn't remember the third, but she got to choose which survivor benefits she would go off of. But I think that was pretty good planning on her part. So here's the thing. If we all have friends that may have a divorce and want to get remarried. I urge you to make sure they're aware of this scenario, because if they are really in love, maybe you talk them into waiting until after age 60 and not forfeiting at least the survivor benefits. Or maybe it's a scenario where they don't need to get married because the benefits are so much higher on the other end, so it might make sense to run the numbers. But that's a little bit on divorcee benefits. All right, last part, because we're running up on 12:30. I want to keep it open for, I think, questions as well. Okay, perfect. So the last part is taxes. So taxes and retirement planning. Social Security is taxed. Okay. And Uncle Sam wants to get as much dollars out of your Social Security as possible. So how do we minimize that? In order to figure out how to minimize our taxes and Social Security, we have to figure out what's called our combined income. Excuse me. So what is our combined income? Depending on whether you're filing individually or filing jointly, Social Security benefits are not taxable less than $25,000 or $32,000. Up to 50% can be taxed between $25,000 and $34,000 filing individually, $32,000 to $44,000 filing jointly, and lastly, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxed north of a combined income of $34,000 or $44,000. So what is the combined income calculation? Here it is. It's the front page of your 1040 individual tax return, your adjusted gross income, plus tax exempt income. That's municipal bonds, any type of tax exempt income that you might see, that you might be invested in, and then half of your Social Security. You add those three things up, it creates your combined income, which we just saw on that last page, and ultimately you fit in the bracket of how much you're paying in taxes. The question is, what's not in this equation? These 6 things, and there are a few that I would hone in on. First and foremost, it's the Roth IRA, Roth 401k, Roth 403b. One of the best estate planning tools to pay taxes down in investment, let it grow for ages, and when you draw it, not paying taxes down the road. And I would ask, if I could see all of you, where do you think taxes are going in the future? I would certainly say they're going up. Qualified charitable distributions. Instead of taking money from your RMD or your IRAs and then paying a charity with that for philanthropic work, do that directly through Lincoln, because that way it's not a taxable event. It does not become part of your combined income. Non-taxable portions of pensions and annuities, inheritance and gifts. Folks get, somebody may have inherited money or life insurance proceeds from passing away. Make sure you're sharing that information so that that does not become part of that combined income, and HSA withdrawals for qualified medical expenses. I love this page. I'll finish my thought on this, on taxes. Lincoln, I've known Lincoln for a long time. He builds a phenomenal, well-diversified portfolio to get you to and through retirement. But what he also does is he understands a well-diversified tax strategy as you get into retirement. Finding ways to minimize how much you pay to Uncle Sam, or extending how long it takes to pay Uncle Sam to that, so that you can keep more of your dollars in your pocket and spend more money with you and your family. So I urge you to sit down and have that discussion, if you haven't already, about building a well-diversified tax strategy in retirement as well. So last couple things to consider, and then we'll wrap it up. Think about how long you plan on working, and does it make sense? Can you pass that 4% reliable withdrawal rate rule? Does it make sense to continue to work and draw Social Security, or does it make sense to just start retirement and start drawing for maybe your investable assets and maybe let Social Security grow? And the last part is, what's your combined life expectancy? This is a very difficult conversation. Sarah, my wife, and I have had this conversation. The men in the O'Donovan family will live till 72. That's the average we live to. But the women in Sarah's family live on average to 97. Betty Jean, great-grandma Betty Jean, passed away at 100 years old last May. And so I never really planned to take my Social Security. I mean, I'll take it for 2 years. It'll be fun for 2 years. I'll probably have Alzheimer's like my dad. I won't remember anything, but it's okay. But if Sarah lives for, on average, what her just the average is for 25 more years, that's going to benefit her, and I'll be able to look down, hopefully from heaven, and she'll look up and say thank you. But that's how you really maximize your Social Security benefits, by working together. I'll finish with this. If you've ever been to Europe, you realize that Europeans love to talk about their money. They love to talk about their health. They love to talk about their wealth and not their health. In the US, we love talking about our health, but not our wealth. So it's not an easy conversation to have, but I urge families, spouses to have that conversation to maximize not only your Social Security, but that retirement picture of answering the first question we talked about, which is not outliving our money. So on that note, thank you. I hope that was helpful. Lincoln, I'd love to open up to questions if folks have them. I think we've slotted for another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, come on over.
I'll slide in here with you for a second. I figured at minimum we would have one question, which was, which one of you is Jana? And so let me just let everybody know that Jana did not gain 100 pounds and lose all of her hair. We're just using her login because of some technical difficulties. But it looks like we have no questions on the through the webinar system. So at this point, we are going to shut things down. Just a quick reminder, we are having 2 more webinars this year. The next one's going to be on healthcare costs in retirement. So that's going to be focused on Medicare. That's going to be in late August. Be looking for an announcement of that pretty soon. And then in October, we're planning to do another one on legacy planning. So if either of those interest you, be on the lookout. And in the meantime, if you are interested in doing the stress test that Mike mentioned, or taking a harder look at your personal situation, I'd be happy to sit down with any of you and do that analysis for you so that you can make those good decisions that Mike's been talking about. So that's it for today. Mike, thank you very much for being here.
Appreciate you.
We really appreciate you coming and sharing all this knowledge, and I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Bye-bye now.